Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Four Dads Podcast with your host Don Julio and myself Teeds. Hopefully you guys have a good week. It's been extremely hot out here in the Central Valley. I think topping out at like 115 degrees and averaging about 112 over the last week, 7-10 days. I know it's been getting warmer on Don Julio's side, but I don't know that hot.
We this week was like 100. I think we had 102 days. Other than that, it's been in the 90s.
And no AC, right?
And no AC. But like,
Mm.
I don't know. We're kind of fortunate because like we have the coast, so at night that breeze really comes through. But
True.
I mean, dude, the worst part is that I got a 1-year-old who's super energetic. She's wants to run around.
Yep.
And so I can't go to any parks because the plastic is so hot. Like
Dude.
the other day, I kid you not, I told Alina, I'm like, okay, we'll go to the park. So I put her in the bob. We went over there, and she plays in the one area that's like shaded. Right, feels good. There's breeze. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, oh, this feels good. All of a sudden, she's like, bridge. I go bridge, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be hot. And so she gets, so now she's learning how to use the rail to go up the stairs. But she gets across the bridge, and there's like these little gaps where her foot could easily get in.
Oh yeah.
So she like watches those, and she like grabs the sides of the bridge to balance herself. But then she touches. She goes, hot. Right? And I was like, I told you. So then she tries to sit down, and then now her pants are getting hot. And so I'm like, okay, come here. So then I just like picked her up, and she goes, hot. Right. And she wants to keep going back, but eventually it's like, I looked at her hands, and I'm like, your hands are getting so red. Like, we're done.
Dude,
let's go.
It's brutal. Like right, Nick says we have a similar thing, but it's rubber. I think it's rubber on the ground. And like,
oh yeah,
I went out when it was like 71, 72. It wasn't even that bad. But when you stepped onto the rubber area, it was like 10 to 12 degrees hotter at least. And I was just like, what the heck? And as soon as you stepped off, you're like, oh, it's not that bad at all. But you step on that thing and it is hot. But anyway, let's get into golf really quick. We have had a few things pop up over the news, which I thought was really interesting, and I definitely wanted to talk about. And to start it out, Keegan Bradley, Ryder Cup captain, apparently didn't even know that he was in the running to be selected. After they went over a few guys, I think even Tiger Woods was one of the options. What are your thoughts on Keegan Bradley?
It's about time, dude. I mean, we had Zach Johnson last year, who was like the Joe Biden of Ryder Cup leaders. So
I tried my best. I got the best golfer. Okay, yeah, sure.
I mean,
sure,
at this point, it's like, look, Keegan already has the rapport with the guys. Like, everyone knows he can play. Everyone knows Zach is just a big complainer. But I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be awesome to see. My only thing is like, will the Live boys be able to get in there? Because that, again, it's like, I just think that there's so much talent that's being left behind if we don't bring those guys in.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely know that we will have the Live guys in there. I can almost guarantee you that. I haven't talked to Keegan. I don't know him personally, but he was like, he even had, I think during like one of his press talks, he was like, I was uncomfortable with some of the guys that are passed over. The best guys will play. And it's like common sense, but at least it sounds like he's going to do the due diligence on both tours to see who is playing the best golf at the time and choose the best. Do I think that's going to happen? Yes. Do I hope it's going to happen? Yes. I really think it actually will. Zach Johnson, when he was Ryder Cup, he was like, oh, I didn't really get to watch the other guys. Well, your job is to watch all of the United States golfers, the best ones, and make that decision, not just what you like, whether you're getting pressure from one side or the other. I don't know, like, even if I had that pressure, if I was in Zach Johnson's place, where if he was told specifically by the PGA, like, hey, you can only take these guys, or you could do this, or this is going to happen, or whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, if you go that route and you get dominated in Europe, what's that? You look like the fall guy. You look like the idiot. No one's saying, oh, someone was in his ear telling him to pick only one group of golfers and the other. It's going to be on Zach Johnson. So at the end of the day, I'll be like, yeah, okay. Are you guys going to come out and say, hey, that's on us? We kind of pushed him to do this? No, they're going to let Zach Johnson take the fall. So if I'm taking the fall, I'm taking the fall with the best guys that I think could give us the best shot to win. That's how I think about it. Especially Zach Johnson. He's made millions of dollars. Money's not an issue for him. Money's not an issue for his family. So if I think he has a Masters win, right? That's the only major win he's had. Does he had any other major wins?
Honestly, don't know. I
No?
think he does. I think he does have a Masters, but I don't know if he has any other
Anything
major.
else? So I mean, like he's
Yeah.
won a major. He's had a solid career for a professional golfer. I mean, this would just add to it, and to go out like that, I just don't know how he could. I don't know, man. Especially with how well Bryson DeChambeau was playing at the time. How the heck could you just go? Oh, you don't leave Justin Thomas at home. That still hurts me. Where I'm just like, you really can, man. It's really easy. If you were to say,
Yeah.
sorry, Justin, you didn't have it this year, you think Justin would be like, oh, come on, man. We're boys.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Come on, dude. Like, no,
I mean,
he'd be like,
he
I get it.
might, but
Yeah, but at the same time,
you
be
know,
like, I get what you're saying. You know, like, I
Yeah.
haven't been playing well. What, like, you have nothing to back it up. I mean, now he's playing well. Justin Thomas, now he's playing well. Good for him.
just this
Yeah,
weekend
right.
now.
We'll see how consistent it gets.
Yeah.
But, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really hoping that, because what was it? Roy McIlroy even mentioned, like, hey, when John Rahm signed with Liv, he goes, hey, we're going to do everything we can to get John Rahm on this team. And I don't
Yep.
care if we have to change the rules. So I guess the European team has a rule in place. Some people have been telling me, some of the PGA Tour loyalists out there on Facebook, like, oh, no, there's a rule about it. They can't take him. And I'm like, okay, well, Roy McIlroy has probably the biggest poll in Europe. So I'm pretty sure he can fix that. I mean, I don't know. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, man. I mean, to your point, right, is like Zach Johnson had one job to do last year, which was just make sure he puts the best team together. I'm not saying the team was bad. You know, I mean,
they're great golfers.
Yeah. I mean, Max Homa probably had the best performance. You know, I mean, he really kind of held the team on his shoulders, in my opinion. But I think the thing is, you know, he kind of pulled a Kyle Shanahan in the Super Bowl and didn't know what the overtime, you know, didn't prep on the rules for overtime. You know, it's just like, dude, there's just so many things that it's like you just didn't pay attention, thinking that it was the same. And you know, you try and be like, you want to be cool with everyone, but the whole thing is, you know, you got a whole country on your back that's like, we expect you to win. You know, sure, you know, we get it. It's, you know, the Europeans and everything has just always been historically clashing, right? Who's better? Well, you had a great team, but I don't think the pairings in which you had actually benefited the players.
And the prep leading up to it as well, with all the players.
Yeah.
I know you got to throw in vacation time and, you know, being a human and everything, but like vacation in Europe, play some golf rounds for fun. You know, just do things that can at least like get you somewhat prepared for what you're going to do, because you're not just playing in like a friendly in a soccer match. You know, it's like going to the World Cup. You know, it's so serious, and your fans on the United States and on the European side are extremely, extremely passionate about it. So take it that way. Don't you be like, oh, we didn't play for 25 days and we practiced for like 5 days. I'm like,
yeah, get to the course. I mean,
travel ball teams don't even do that, dude. Like, come on, like, let's go. Like, I know you're not getting paid, but that's not even it either. You know, you make so much money already.
Yeah, I don't even think that's a big thing, but kind of leading to the next part about Liv, right? I know we got a lot more to touch about, but how crazy is it that Liv has a lawsuit with Alabama because the Aces logo looks too similar to the Alabama.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Because what was it? Country Club Adjacent was like, you don't own a letter. Like if someone else had an A, like if you look at the Atlanta Braves A looks very similar to that as well. I think the only difference someone mentioned is that the cross,
the
or
outline,
like
the outlining,
the thing goes like down up instead of up down or whatever, like crossing the A. And you look at these logos, one, they're completely different colors. I mean, come on. How many?
I mean, the A at the kick of the leg at the A is even cut on the aces.
Oh yeah, to make it look like a fork, because it's the 4 aces. Exactly. But think about this. You know, all of the high school teams out there and all the community colleges that take all of these all these logos, like was it Southwestern College in is it Southwestern? Yeah, Southwestern College in San Diego. They go with the old USC logo, and then Stanford there's a community college. What is it? Saddleback College goes with the S from Stanford, the exact S.
Yeah.
You have the Owls. I forget from where, but they take the Rice logo.
Rice.
Like
Yeah.
all these different things where it's just like, oh, they just changed the colors and they put their name on it, and it's just like no one's batting an eye. Like, come
Yeah.
on, is it really that big of like? No one
Well,
looks at it and be like,
you
oh,
got
this is
to
Bama.
think of it this way. You got to think of it this way. It's the amount of views, right? I mean,
Oh yeah,
again, I understand from Country Club Adjacent's aspect, right? You don't own a letter, right? But I think their whole thing is like, yo, we're Alabama, like this is the Aces, and their lives growing and it's getting a lot of exposure, like
mm-hmm.
you know. But at the same time, too, oh man, I just found that so funny. I'm like,
That
this
was
can't be real.
hilarious. I was
Yeah,
like,
I was like,
like
this can't be real. I went and looked it up on Google, and it's like, yes, this is a very real like lawsuit right now. I'm like,
Bama
no
loses,
way.
Nick Saban, they're not
Yeah,
relevant anymore, and now they're trying to gain some relevancy back by making a thing out of this. And it's got to be a Justin Thomas thing, Alabama alum, trying to get
yeah.
back. And I mean, I will say though, if you do look at the logo of the High Flyers that was getting sued by Fallen, the Fallen brand. Did you hear about that a few years ago? Phil Mickelson, his team, the High Flyers, they basically use the exact same logo from, I think it's Fallen. It's like it's a skater shoe brand, and I remember that logo specifically. And it looks exactly black, white, just like it. Didn't really change much else. And I'm like, okay, that one, yeah, I could see that being, a reason why that they would actually sue for. But this is like different colors. Use the Atlanta Braves and be like, yo, if you're gonna sue me, sue him too. Sue them too. That'd be me. I'd point my finger. But that's funny. Yeah, I saw that this week.
Sorry, I didn't realize I was still on mute.
No, you're good. I was like, there's still a car revving its engine out there just to piss you off, or what, man?
Yeah, dude, it's finally we have cops over here now because like right here at this corner, I mean, dudes and gals, whoever have their cars, they just gun it. And there's one diesel truck who I think he just cut the pipe entirely. But dude, he comes around that corner, and it's the loudest thing ever.
Does it wake your daughter up at all, ever?
No, because we have like the hatch and stuff going
Oh,
on.
okay.
But still,
Gosh,
yeah,
I'd be throwing out freaking like spikes out there if I woke up my kid. Like,
bro.
yeah, sure, go for it.
Dude, you're getting into territory that I've thought about. Is like, what's something I can do?
Right. Oh no, you pop your tires. Oh no. You've seen
Yeah.
like that meme where it's like what guys who like rev their engines in front of people think people react when they see their car, and it goes like vroom. The guy goes, "Whoa, awesome, so cool."
Yeah.
But dude, let's get back into this golf stuff really quick. You had a red, white, and blue golf tournament.
I did.
How did that go?
It was a lot of fun.
Also, wait, before you get into that, happy late birthday, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
This Monday, July 8th, Don Julio's birthday. I'm guessing 33. Yeah, you had your golf. Sorry. I was so glad I texted
I
you on your
appreciate it
birthday because I was like,
I appreciate it. No, I appreciate it. No, it was a fun tournament. So my biggest highlight was hole 1. I trunk slam, didn't really hit many balls, but we played the first 6 holes were all red. Then I was
Did you
like,
get to choose them? Did you get to choose them or no?
no. So I went out and did that practice round to make like a strategic play, and it was totally like, nope. You just started off first 6 red, next were white. You finished out on blue.
Okay.
But dude, I hit an absolute bomb on number 1. I had 125 yards out on the par 5.
From how far were you?
I think from the Reds, it was like, I think it was like 501.
From the freaking Reds? What does red mean to you guys? Is that like the blue or like?
I'm not sure, but
That's
dude,
far back for the Reds. Yeah,
it
kids,
was.
huh? F them kids, huh?
Yeah, but I mean, it was an absolute bomb, and I threw a dart, made an eagle first hole. I'm like, hell yeah. Then I went to I ended up shooting 3 under on the front, so I had a decent lead.
Oh, was it single? So you didn't team. It wasn't a scramble. It was just you.
It wasn't a scramble. It was just me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But here's the other thing. I was a +2 from the white. So it was like on number 5, I made a great birdie, but ended up being a par. Had to give one back, right? So
what was it from the
and
Reds?
then
What were you from the Reds?
well, they just played it. They took the handicap from what the overall whites would be, so
Oh,
it didn't really
okay.
matter. But yeah, so was 3 under through the first, and then I had one more birdie on number 8. Yeah, number 8 to get to 4, and then I basically just parred everything else out from there, and I had one blow up hole for a double on number 13, the par 3.
And how'd you do compared to the rest of the people?
I finished second overall.
How
One
far were
guy who
you?
one
Like how
guy who
close?
had one guy who had 8 strokes. He got 8 strokes in total. Beat me
By how much? 1, 2?
3
Gosh.
or
So
3.
what does that mean? His handicap was like a 10?
No, he was like adjusted. Yeah, maybe he was. Maybe he was a 10. I think he was because he was in my group and I think he was a 10. Either a 10 or an 8, but he ended up getting some more. So it was like he played really well though. He played really well, but it wasn't until the 16th hole where the guy that I was riding with looked at the leaderboard and was like, "Oh, can you hear me?"
No, I can't. I'm sorry. No, I'm listening.
Okay.
I'm
Oh,
looking up something that we're going to talk about next, but
oh.
it's about this. It's about this. But you're talking about.
So the guy that I was playing with, then he pulls up the leaderboard and he goes, "Dude, you're in first place." And I'm like, "Why would you tell me that?" Like I literally looked at him like, "Why would you tell me that?" And he goes, "Oh, well, I just wanted you to know where you're at." I'm like, "No, you fucking asshole!" Like, like don't tell me that.
You blew it.
Literally, dude. I was like, did you ever play Little League baseball or anything like that? He goes, yeah. And I'm like, you were the kid who would go and tell somebody, hey, you got a no hitter going on,
Dude. If you hit a single, you hit for the cycle. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you got dude, shut up. Oh no way.
So then that entire hole, I just would walk to my ball with my club and my rangefinder because I was like, I can't be like, don't talk to me, dude.
Get me away from this guy. Get me away from him.
Literally.
Well,
Literally.
So that's great. I get annoyed when it comes to the stroke stuff. I mean, I understand it to a T, but I think they give up too much. And at certain handicaps, they should cap it. And for both sides, just to make it so like it's not, oh, you have a 15 handicap compared to a scratch. You're not always going to shoot scratch. They're not always going to shoot 15 over, or whatever the average is. That's just their best rounds. So you're capping them. But did you hear about the Barstool Classic and the sandbaggers that they were?
So I'm glad you brought that up because I was
that's
just
what
about
that's
to
what I
tell
was
you.
looking up. That's what I was looking up.
So I played in an NCGA qualifier 3 weeks ago. No, 2 weeks ago. Kind of spur of the moment. I was a reserve and then ended up getting a call to go play. But this guy who was 2 groups ahead of me, we all knew that this guy was pretty good. I'm not going to say any names, but we all knew this guy was pretty good. But he was at like a 15 handicap in this event for one of the other flights. Right? And everyone was super like, we
suspicious.
know he's not. Yeah, everyone was like, wait, we've seen him play at Bennett. We've seen him play at Foxtail. We've seen him play in other qualifiers. Like, that's definitely not his handicap. So, dude, come to find out, I guess 3 hours before the event started, 3 hours, this dude put in like 25 scores.
No.
Of like 98, 120, 115,
so
105.
So when you enter scores at this thing, does it tell you when you entered them? It's not like you can.
Oh yeah.
So like it'll say like July 12th, 10 o'clock. That's what it'll say. Yep. Like if I did it right now, it won't say like what date you actually played on. If you.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, no. So it does tell the date that you played, and I think that was what. I think that was one of the factors that flagged for the NCGA, because then what happened was he came in and he shot a legitimate 72 with his score, but with every pop, he ended up shooting like a 60. I think he came in with like a 63.
Jimmy Christmas, dude.
And everyone was like, dude, you're like, I mean, unless you just had a great day, like you're not a 15, because
Yeah.
again, this guy was hitting bombs at like 315 off of the blue tees, you know, definitely has had lessons, so you can tell he kind of knows what he's doing with his swing. But we finish, and all of a sudden everyone kind of gives like a slow clap, like, okay, like great job of 60, 63 with as a 15 handicap, like that's a shit ton of pops you got. Comes out the next day, NCGA's there, tells him, hey, you're not playing. We flagged your account. We saw that you had put in a bunch of scores 3 hours before this event. Like, you're disqualified. And everyone was like, what? Yeah, dude. Crazy.
Dude, but you heard about the Barstool thing, right?
So I didn't hear all of it, but I know what you're speaking about. But go ahead and
yeah. So I just watched the video of I watched the video of the guy who there's a guy apparently out there on social media. He literally, his job or all of his videos are finding sandbaggers and calling them out. So whether it's they have like a really high USGA gin or whatever, and then they shoot really crazy low somewhere, and I think people send him stuff too. It's not like he just sorts it out. Like, people show him and they're like, okay, well then he'll investigate and look into it and stuff like that. And apparently at the Barstool Classic, they do a thing where they have like multiple Barstool Opens or Classics or whatever. There's like 100 tournaments, and like the top 10 scores, top 10 groups or something like that, they play for like $20,000. Like, out of all those groups, and these people, like, found this group, and again, I only watched like one video, and then Riggs kind of explaining everything, and I have Lou Stagner's suite right in front of me right now, where he's going over what's going on, kind of. And apparently this guy was an 18 handicap, and he shot a 77 with no pops or anything, but he shot an 77. So I think that might have like put him up in a tier. Actually, he might have gotten pops. I don't know. Whatever it was. Wait. With a course handicap. Okay, I'm sorry. This guy apparently had a 14 handicap index, or 14 index with a course handicap of 18. Shoots a 77 on a par 71. Apparently, according to Riggs, he asked ChatGPT, what are the odds that someone with those numbers would shoot a 77? ChatGPT said 1 in 500. Lou Stagner says, with a course rating of this and that, the chances are actually, based off of my data, the lead data at Arcos, or whatever, is 1 in 37,000. So then, people are just like, okay, like, what happened? Riggs reached out to this guy and was like, hey, dude, like, what's going on? Apparently he's like the head golfer dude at not head, like a president or whatever, some kind of golfing club out in Iowa or wherever he is in. I forget. It's a Midwestern state, and they play at a pitch and putt course. It's like a par 63, really short course, and they have all these crazy rules where they just play for fun. So even though they have all these scores that they can play with, they like use preferred lies. They, give themselves, they don't putt inside like 2 feet. They don't pull everything out. So apparently this guy hadn't posted a score in about like a year and a half, because he's like, there's no reason to post a score on this. Yeah, I won this tournament at this little pitch and putt that's my local, like, like 2 months ago, and I think he shot like a 62, which is like a 2 or 3 under, nothing amazing, but it's still, under, but it's such a small course, and they preferred lies. It wasn't fully legit. He's like, I didn't think I should post it because it's not really legit. Like, it's an easy course. We just mess around. And apparently there's like a website, and it broke down that it's exactly what he said. And so Riggs, they didn't disqualify him because it sounded more like this guy just had the best day of his life instead of he just sandbagged. And everyone's out here like freaking out and going after, because I mean, people put a lot of money into these tournaments, dude, especially Barstool trying to get into that. And I don't know. I mean, he apparently Riggs did like all the research, and he broke it down like a 10-minute video. And it was really interesting to see what he did. He reached out to other people. It sounded just like you and me, just a dad wasn't able to get out as much as he wants anymore. But he had a few rounds of like 80, 81, 82. Nothing crazy. And Briggs was like, "Hey, like it's possible. It's very possible for him just to have a great day." And it's not like an amazing day. Where if it was like a 70 or 71, I'd be like, "Okay, let's pump the brakes here." But like a 77 off of like a score that he shot an 80, 81, it's not three, 4 strokes. It's not really that crazy, in my opinion. But I mean, based off of the horrible explanation that I just gave, what are your thoughts on it, Don Julio?
I don't know, man. There's a lot of things. I mean, when you're playing big money, like you should definitely keep an active,
True. Yeah.
definitely keep an active handicap, because it's like if you know those types of people who are going to bring you into those events, or you're connected with those types of people,
Mm-hmm.
it's good to have it, because I've played. I mean, I haven't played for like $20,000, but I played for some bigger games on the side, and there was one time where I hadn't posted anything in a while, and I told the guys, I'm like, hey, I don't think that's my accurate handicap, and they were like, well, why not? And I was like, look at my last post was 2014, like it's 2018 now, like
Mm-hmm.
it's been a while since I've used this thing. And they're like, well, what do you think would be fair? I'm like, just have me play it straight up, like zero, right? So I give nothing back, right? I get nothing,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the
Mm-hmm.
difference is. Ended up
Yeah.
actually having a pretty good day, but still,
Mm-hmm.
like, it's a gentleman's game, right? And
Integrity, exactly.
yeah,
Mhm,
you gotta speak up on this. And like, it's so funny that we're speaking about this too, because at the club, my buddy Chris, my buddy Jimmy, and some other guys that we play with, we're all pretty good golfers. I mean, we can go out there and fire off some 60 scores. We can also go ahead and shoot 80 sometimes too, right? It just happens.
mhm.
But
Yeah.
there's been this new guy. I'm not going to name his name. He watches the he watches the podcast, but he knows who he is. He has this. I don't know what it is, but they want to always play like a group game, right? Where he never wants to play direct skins, but he always wants to do a scramble.
Mm.
And so it'll be his 4 guys versus our 4 guys. The last 2 times now that we've done this, we came in with a solid 10 under as a group in the scramble. Okay. From the blues. But then he has one guy. Okay. I'm by far probably, if not the, or probably top 3 longest hitters at the club. There's this one guy, not going to say his name. We'll call him Curly, because he's got curly hair, but he does hit the ball well. And dude, you gotta see this guy swing. He has literally a pause in his backswing,
Oh, really? Like the Pause King?
kind of like that, but a little bit longer. Like
Really?
it's like you're yeah, it's pretty amazing. But he squares the ball up well. And so the last 2 times, the first time we knew it was going to be close because he was playing in the group. The second time, he had 3 of his other buddies who he even said they're not super good. I'm like, well, then why are we playing this game? Right? Like, we should have one person from ours, because we're all a bunch of 6 at least play. And they're like, no, it's fine. It's fine. So it wasn't an easy day. Like, it was a
Wait,
pretty
so
windy day.
when you guys are doing these games, is it like like 8 people on a hole?
No. It's 2 groups.
Okay,
Two
okay.
groups. But anyways, these guys both, or each time that we've played, they've come back and have beat us. By the first time we shot 10, they said they shot 13. And we were like, what? Like, we saw 2 balls go in the water on 18, and they still said they made a birdie. And I'm like, hold on a second. Like, you guys were literally 4 holes behind us at one point, which only could tell us one thing, which is that you guys were struggling, or you were just making up fake scores. But me and my buddy, my buddy Chris, we like just gave our money, went to the car, and we were out, because I'm like, dude, I'm gonna pop off on somebody like that. There's no way that makes sense. So this last time they did it again, but they beat us by 5. They shot 13 under to our 8 under. And they said that they had chipped in on 9, which 9 had a pretty strong wind into the face. And I hit like a stinger driver to get just in front of the green at like 315, total. And the quietest guy in our group because he's just stoned all the time. He literally steps up and he's like, you guys said you chipped in on 9. He goes, I know there's not one person in this group who can hit the ball 315 to the front of the green. I know there's not one person. He's like, y'all are bullshitting. And dude, it was crazy. But to your point with this whole handicap thing, like, you just got to be transparent of what's going on, and you can tell when people are being legitimate and when people aren't. Like, it's
Right.
It's pretty blatant. But again, it's like the only way to do it is play your game and let your game speak for it, right?
Yeah, I feel like in terms of like what you brought up earlier, where like you got to be posting consistent scores or at least something. It's a tournament that you know about probably like 3 to 4 months in advance before you're going to go, maybe even farther. I haven't ever been interested in buying a ticket to play at one of these Barstool things, but I'm sure it's not like a month in advance. I'm sure you get like a few months in advance, where there should be maybe a rule where it's like you have to have at least like 3 or 4 rounds in your gin before, like, from when you sign up to when you like play, whether it's 1 or 2 or just something, again, just to keep some consistency, like you said, because I feel like that could be a really big determining factor. And then on your point of actually playing, whoever you've been playing, sounds like you guys just need to do 2v2 and then 2v2 in the other cart, and then you're always with them. You got to have someone with them.
That's exactly what we all said the last time. But the other thing, going back to the Barstool thing, or going back to the Barstool sandbagging events, is it's really simple. When you and I learned this working in golf and setting up tournaments, if you include a piece to have each player put in their gin, you can see who's actively posting, who's not actively posting, right? Then from that point, you can then either reach out or put in the line saying that you need to have an active gin that is actively being or that is fully active with real scores going in, right? And again, it goes back to that NCGA tournament that I played in, right? I was on the waiting list and I ended up getting a call, but that dude literally did it 3 hours before the tournament. So they already had so they already had his gin set and ready, knowing what his number was going into the tournament.
So and then when they bumped it up, it skyrocketed.
It got flagged immediately. So then that was where they finished out the round. Basically, they the NCGA official came out the next day and just said, "Hey, you're disqualified. We know what you did. Your account is on a review, which means that you're not going to be playing any tournaments for a while." So I mean, there's a lot of things that are going on with that.
Bill, you told me no one would know. What the heck?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. But kind of moving into the next thing here, dude. So what do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the Genesis, or do you want to talk about the American Century Championship with the celebrity tournament in Tahoe?
We could go. I have not watched too much of either. The only things that I've seen is Josh Allen, because he's got his brand new Avoda irons, chipped in with his wedge.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's all holding him up like
right. He's got the bronze set, which is sick. And I haven't watched too much of Scottish. I know who's been playing well.
Rory came out pretty hot. I think he kind of messed up today, but Lou Altenberg.
Oh, Ludwig Aber.
Yeah, there you go. He's in the lead right now. He shot 6
today. I will say this though. So I don't know how this works, but did you see Ludwig, his shot where the ball hit Morikawa's on the green? Did you see that? Okay, you did. Okay, no. So let's just say, for example, I don't know what hole it was. Let's say it's like 8th hole. Morikawa's already on the green, maybe like 8 feet away, and Ludwig gets up, hits his shot. Ball just goes boom right onto Morikawa's ball, and they just go. They hit each other and they fall off. What happens if you hit another ball that's on the green and knock it somewhere else? Like these balls, it wasn't like you knocked it, like it rolled on the green and like it knocked it like a foot left or right.
It came straight down on top of it.
It came on top of it, but both the balls like went off the green. Like it was just like what happens?
I don't know. I think, I was always under the impression that you're supposed to place whose ever ball was affected is supposed to place where
Probably
the
as
ball
close as it was, right?
yeah,
As
as
close
close
to.
to where it was, but the person who hit the shot needs to play where the ball finished or where the ball ended up.
Oh,
Because, I mean, think of it this way: it's kind of like one of those things where if you hit in front of or if you hit in front of the hole and it hits off the flagstick and it jumps back,
right. True, true.
50 yards, that you can't just put it right back in front of the hole.
Yeah,
So, being
right.
that that ball is live and in
Hmm.
play, you know, Ludwig should have just played wherever his ball ended up, and they should have
Okay.
allowed
They
Morikawa
probably
to
did let
place his ball
Morikawa.
did.
I just didn't
Yeah,
see. I just saw the clip and I was like, "What happens
yeah.
now?"
I don't know.
But
Maybe that's a good question for for the viewers. I'm not 100% sure.
yeah, no. But yeah, I mean, I haven't watched too much. I think it's also like kind of flipped, because it's in Scotland. But
Yeah,
well, really quickly, side note, because have you been seeing all the? There's been like a few golf courses, I think, in Scotland or wherever they're gonna have the Open, that are getting like wrecked. Have you seen their greens? Like they're getting wrecked by like those stupid, stupid climate change people. Like literally just digging up holes. Like it's
I
horrible.
haven't seen that, but I saw one on Zaire Golf where it legitimately looked like someone was over there just taking a wedge directly to the green.
Well, no, that one's different. So that one is obviously horrible, but this one actually had like spray paint saying like fascist or some spray painted words on there where it's like you're affecting a greenskeeper that's a blue collar worker. You're not affecting anyone here. He just
Yeah,
has to work even harder for his job. And
yeah.
uh, I don't want to go into that, but
No,
I saw that and it was just irritating the crap out of me. I'm like, it looks like golf courses might have to have like an actual security cameras on their greens and maybe even a night guard, and that's just going to raise prices even more, which is going to suck. But it's stupid.
yeah, no, I haven't seen any of that. I mean, I don't know, man. I think if that's happening like in Scotland, right? I mean, where golf was born, it's kind of super disrespectful. I mean, I would expect some stupid shit like that from an American just because of how petty some Americans are. But
Oh heck yeah,
you know, I I just don't think that that's. I'm shocked to hear that. I'm shocked to hear that. But I have seen a
yeah.
bunch of clips of where people go out later in the afternoon or at night. And dude, I saw one where the the hole is like looking at the ocean. You could tell someone was legitimately like hitting shots off of the green because you could see where they
Where
had
they're
their
aiming.
foot well no their
Oh, the
feet right
feet. Oh, okay,
because of
okay.
the dew like if the
Yeah.
sprinklers had gone on and you
Hmm,
could see how
hmm.
their heel was rotating, they're driving their back foot like they're swinging a baseball bat, and then you see like just massive chunks taken out everywhere because they're hitting shots, and I'm thinking, dude, who does this? Like, why
Okay.
would you do that?
Well, I'm going to tell you why, and this is going to say, and I'm not. There's no hate or and negativity or what do you call it, maliciousness to what I'm about to say, but I'm a big ASMR guy. Have you ever like, dude, hitting a ball off of a green would probably be so amazing. Just like the grass, just the feel because it's so smooth, it's so soft. You know, it's like a beautiful. Like a lot of these greens, especially at a nice golf course, I'm sure just hitting like a
Kind of like how you were on the first hole at Carmen Valley Ranch, where you're like, I don't want to hurt the ground.
yeah, exactly, exactly. If I would have hurt the ground, I would have
Yeah,
felt amazing because it just looks so beautiful, and it's like one of those things where if you probably hit it, it probably just feels so amazing. Like you pured a shot. You know, you got not too much. What do you call it? What's the opposite of give? Where like you're able to go through your shot, no problem. You're not having like the ground stop your shot. But
yeah,
don't get me
just
wrong, it's horrible, and it's probably impossible to like fix completely. But dude, I it's effed up. Don't get me wrong, but I understand that part of it. I don't understand anything else. But hey, don't get me wrong. If I had a little too much in me, I might just be. You know what? I'm gonna take one shot right here off the edge of the green. Okay, I'm not gonna go right in the center, but I want to see how it feels because it's
the
that soft
craziest I,
grass.
the craziest I've ever done is just hit a chip shot because I had to get over the hill to get it to come down.
Well, that's
and
legit. There's actually a reason behind it. It wasn't you're just
Yeah.
like, oh, F this, I missed the putt. Go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it feels great, but also you being a golfer, like you got to know, like I gotta catch this with kind of like the very last line on my club, just to make sure I don't just
Dude.
blow up the ground.
You ever seen those slow-mo? I forget who it was, whether it was Rory or whether it was like Justin
Oh,
Thomas. It was like the
no,
slow-mo.
it was Scheffler.
Was it Scheffler where like they
Yeah,
zoomed up on it in slow-mo and it just was like he perfectly hit it without
yeah.
making a divot? And you're just like, like you have to rewatch it like 50 times to
You just see the
really
ball
realize
just
what he did.
become super flat on the face, and then just like,
It's like, what
yeah.
the heck, dude? Wow. But yeah. Okay, so with those two tournaments, what have you seen? What have you
I saw that the celebrity list for
dude,
this
it's
American
stacked.
Century is stacked. You got Devonte Adams, you got Marcus Allen, you got Ray Allen, Josh Allen, you have both the Kelsey brothers, you got Brian
Travis hit
Bumgart.
somebody. Travis hit
I saw
somebody
that.
already.
I
Did
saw
you
that.
did you see
But dude, did you see how fast he's hitting the ball? He's hitting his driver almost 200 miles an hour
well, I
off
mean,
ball
rip it and
speed.
grip
It's
it. I mean,
crazy.
that's one thing doing it at a golf course with no one there, but when you have people there, man, and people could die. Like, okay,
Hey,
Miles, what's the guy
it's
who played Rooster? Who played Rooster
yeah,
from the
uh,
second?
yeah. I know who you're
Miles
talking about.
something.
Yeah,
Anyway, they had what's his name? Aaron Rodgers. He was on the camera. They were on the same group, and he goes, "Yeah, Miles hit a few people already." And
yeah.
then on the par three, he just hooks it way left where it probably goes like 40, 50 yards left into the tents that they have.
hmm Yeah, but they got Robbie Gould in there. They got Blake
Ooh,
Griffin, Kyle Juszczyk,
wow.
uh, Trevor Lawrence is making his first appearance in this.
Yeah, I saw him. I think he was in
Yeah,
Aaron Rodgers' group.
yep. Derek Lowell. They got Joe. Oh shit, Joe Mauer's there too. I didn't even know he golfed.
Mauer.
Dude,
Dude, that dude
what
did
a
everything.
what a wasted career for him. But I mean,
Dude, think if he went
and
football. I think he signed. He was like the number one recruit for a quarterback. I think he would have signed for Florida State to play football and baseball if he would have went.
oh no, really?
He went number one overall, I think, for Minnesota. That's why he stayed. But he could have played football. And
That's
imagine
crazy.
that'd be crazy. Yeah, sorry. Keep going. Who else was
No,
on the
no,
list?
I'm just saying. Every time I see that guy's name, I'm just like, dude, like you were too good of a player to like not ever sniff
You ruined
like
your
a playoff.
what?
Yeah, Michael Pena's there. You got Albert Pujols is playing. Jerry Rice. You got Carlton. Oh, look at Rob Regal's there too. Alex Rodriguez. That's an interesting person to show up.
Is J-Lo was there as well?
No, dude, doubt it. Matt Ryan's there. You got John Schmolt, Larry the Cable
Schmaltz is always
Guy,
there. Yeah. Ooh, Larry.
Miles Turner. There you go, Miles
No.
Turner.
Is it? No. That's not. Is it
That's his
Turner?
name. Or
Is
Teller.
it
Teller. Sorry, Miles
Taylor?
Teller.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Taylor. Yeah, yeah.
Shane Victorino,
Oh, cool.
Jack Wagner, DeMarcus Ware,
Oh,
Stevie
wow.
Young, and Charles Woodson. And
Charles.
David Wells is there too.
Dude, David Wells would be hilarious. That dude is getting hammered every single day on the golf course.
They
Left you
probably got
sweating.
him. Oh, even Chase Utley too. They probably got
Ooh.
him with Larry the Cable Guy, and they're like, they
All the golf
probably
very
had
good.
yeah.
All right.
But the course looks pure though. I saw a few clips of it today. I was watching the stream. Course
Mhm.
looks pure. The weather
Yep.
is
Beautiful.
amazing.
Well,
Amazing, dude.
dude, here's so the few minutes that I actually got to watch it, Miles Teller comes up. Like this is when he hit that par three shot, and he hooked it crazy left. Stephanie's right here in the living room, and she's watching, and she sees the score, and he's got minus 20. She goes, "Oh wow!" I'm like, "Hold on, it's Stableford. I know golf. You normally want to be negative, but this is the only time that sucks because you want to be positive. You get a birdie, normally it's one under, but now it's like 3, 4, 5 points or whatever. And you try to get those. If you're minus 20, that's terrible. It's the one time." She's like, I'm like, yeah, I know. It can be very confusing because you look at that, you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's good. Minus 20? Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Could you imagine? Oh, dude.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm kind of bummed.
She's like, John, what are you doing wrong? What's going on?
Yeah, right. This guy acts and can golf. What the heck?
Yeah.
But one of my coworkers, who used to work with me, she apparently her mom would get tickets like every year to this golf tournament. And one year she's like, "Hey, do you want to know if like you wanted tickets for it to go to this thing?" And I think this was like 2022, so my son was probably like 6 months old or 5 months old or
Yeah.
whatever, or 2 months old, 3 months old. And I was like, "Dude, no, I would love to, but like," and then of course the next year she leaves, and I'm like, "No, I would love to, even though it's like 5 or 6 hours. How far is that for you, Tahoe?"
2 hours.
Okay, it's not terrible, but I mean, it looks like
3. No, 2. 3.
2 to 3. Okay, I mean, still, that's a lot closer than me, but
Yeah.
it's turning into one of those
It's like an AT&T.
Arizona. What's Arizona?
It's not. No, it's nowhere near that.
Well,
It's
hear me
nowhere.
out. Hear me out. It's the Pro-Am's version of that because, dude, they have like boats lined up on like against the course.
They do, but it's like you have to pay for that.
Of
Like
course.
there's a lot of money in Tahoe. I mean, there's a lot of people who go up there who have money, but from a waste management experience, not even close, dude.
Well, of
Like
course, because you actually have professional golfers, like a lot of professional. This is basically just a lot of celebrities, but I mean, if as long as I'm wearing a hockey mask with a full mask, walking around at this tournament, I wouldn't feel that scared hanging out there. But otherwise, dude, I wonder how many people are going to the hospital, not because of being intoxicated, but because of being hit by an errant golf ball. I mean,
dude, probably I don't know, probably a lot.
over
But
under 10,
but it's
10.5.
I'd take that. I think but again, like, dude, it's just about getting FaceTime with these celebrities for sure. Like being in front. I mean, this year is sponsored by Corbell, so people are probably popping bottles like no one's business. But I mean, Tahoe has done a good job with this tournament. I mean, especially from like keeping the craziness down, the littering, and the just the obnoxiousness of it. They do a good job. I They
It's
do a
only going
good
to get
job.
wilder and wilder, dude, because it's starting to creep up. I mean,
I'm shocked with how cheap the tickets are to actually go, though. In
what
my
is it?
opinion,
What is it?
it's $50 for like
A
just
general admission?
just general admission. But like if you want like ground floor where you can like kind of walk on the course and be able to do stuff, it's like 150, which still is not terrible.
With what you're getting in players, like because you go to PGA events, and even when they didn't have live, you might have known, unless you're a diehard golfer, like 50 of like the 120 people there, right? Maybe 60, maybe
Yeah.
70, but even that, you have like half of the field that you don't even know who they are. They're good, but you have all these celebrities that are here. Like almost everybody knows who these people are.
Oh yeah, definitely. Sorry, I
That's all
muted
right.
myself because there was a loud car going by, but
Freaking idiot.
yeah, but no, definitely. I mean, dude, again, this is like, could you imagine actually having like maybe these types of celebrities at the AT&T?
Dude, that'd be epic.
Dude, to see Jerome Bettis just shank it into someone's ankle, I'd pay for that.
Oh,
To
dude. I mean, we
see,
got to see Schoolboy Q shank it.
yeah,
I still can't believe I got that one. That was pretty sick.
to see Charles Barkley with just the like, yeah.
Oh, the little
No,
pause.
he
He's the
doesn't even
pause
have it
king.
anymore.
No,
Yeah,
he
he
got rid
doesn't
of
even
it.
have it anymore. No, but still, like to see these names. I mean, shoot, like for me, it'd be it. I mean, dude, Carson Daly's there.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Oh boy.
and you got Roger Clemens, Johnny Elway.
Clemens. Elway. Yeah, Elway was actually in the group with Aaron Rodgers, Miles Teller, and the quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm blanking on his name.
Trevor Lawrence.
Yes. But I was going to ask you one quick question before we wrap it up. I totally forgot to ask about it when we talked about the Ryder Cup, but did you see that people were speculating if Michael Jordan would be an assistant captain or someone on the team? Would you be for or against that?
Michael Jordan?
The actual basketball player, yeah.
As an assistant captain?
like someone that's there, like I don't know what the position would be, but not like he's gonna be like a Ryder Cup captain, but like he'd be there in spirit, kind of like having like Tiger Woods as like next to Keegan Bradley, something like that. Do you think that actually could benefit or like hurt? I know like
I
he's
mean,
a huge golfer, but
he's shown up in past events before, but I think he was just there for for being a spectator. But I don't know. I don't know how. I think I would have to know more about like what is he contributing to for the
let me
team.
see. Let me see if I can find anything really quickly before. Oh, Keegan Bradley clarifies Michael Jordan's role on the U.S. Cup Rider team. He said he's not going to be a vice captain. He's there for me if I need advice on golf, life, Ryder Cup. He's always there. I guess because Keegan Bradley's obviously Keegan Bradley's sponsored by Jordan, right? He's a close friend, and because of that, he'll be there. And you just said like not as a vice. Yeah, okay. Well, there goes that. It's not is he? He will be there, but he's not going to be a vice captain or anything.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. I think that's a fine move.
hey, do you think? Okay, he's sick. I don't know if there's deals on this, but do you think that they'll be sponsored? If there aren't any deals as of right now, do you think they'll be sponsored by Jordan for this Ryder Cup? How sick would that be? Oh, the
Well,
Jordan bits. Oh,
so it's funny. It's funny because all the golf sneakerheads are talking about how Jordan and Nike have collaborated on another 4 pair of his shoes to drop around that time. And people are trying to figure out what they're going to be. They already kind of have the idea of what the colorways are going to be, but they're they're people are trying to search for what shoes are to come.
gimme, 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 gimme. Oh man, those are going to be beautiful. Ugh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. Unless there's anything else you want to bring up for right now, I think.
Oh man, no, it's just good to. We know this one was kind of pushed out a little bit. We've just been busy with life,
Yep.
but glad we were able to put this one together before you head out of town, and then just look forward to it next week.
Yeah. Don't forget to stay fly and go low, everybody. We will see you guys next week. Talking about the U.S. Open.